There's two common mistakes endurance athletes take in their off season or out of season. Number one, training with the same volume, intensity, and structure that they did during their racing season. And number two, just taking too much time off. I've experienced both of those. In 1997, after my very first Ironman at the age of 24, I was the fittest I've ever been in my life. I came home from Kona, I probably took about a week off. My muscles were still sore, I was still exhausted, but I wanted to maintain my fitness. So what did I do? Got back on the bike, started doing my cycling friends training schedule because this was starting their in-season, their preparation season, and I wanted to be on the cycling team with them. So during the month of November, I forced myself to bike. I was exhausted, my muscles still were sore, and it hit me in December. I got sick. I had like this chronic fatigue for about 6 months because I never allowed my body to recover. Who would have known? No one told me. Fast forward 3 years later, my post-second Ironman in Canada, I did not want to make that mistake again. And I said, okay, I'm going to take 4 weeks off. That's the general recommendation. Let's take 4 weeks off. Let's see what happens. Well, 4 weeks turned into 8 weeks, 8 weeks turned into 12 weeks, and all of a sudden I'm 12 weeks off, about 12 to 15 pounds heavier, getting a little bit depressed because I just never allowed myself to do any activity, and I didn't get those endorphins. I gained some weight. I was not happy with that structure either. So I learned from those two experiences. That actually led to the reason I'm a coach. Is I made a lot of mistakes early on in my triathlon training, and now I plan ahead for what I'm going to do in my off season, if I'm going to take time off, if I'm going to cross train, if I'm going to do any events or challenges, and I actually have a lot of fun, and I actually look forward to this time of year of training. So let's talk a little bit more about when the off season is. The off season typically starts after your final race of the season, until maybe the first race of your next season. It really just depends on your experience of the athlete, what your goals are, and how your season went, and what you want to do next season. It's for any athlete who maybe has had a tremendous amount of volume and amount of training that needs to take some time off of doing that if they have that experience. It's also for the athlete who maybe has just started the sport, who's only been in the sport for 8 to 12 weeks, and they're not ready to really take a break because they're all excited and they don't want time off. But they should kind of get into the mode of getting into a schedule that they do allow themselves a break at a certain time of year. Triathlon is a lifestyle, it's not a season. So it's important even for the newer athletes to take a break from the structure that they just did for that limited time and do something else. And typically it's the fall, winter type of time of year, but it doesn't have to be. It just depends on where you live. So there's 5 things I like to consider in the off season. Number one, I like to do a season review. On my website, T2 Coaching, I actually have a 12 questions that I like to ask myself. I like to share it with my athletes for them to share the answers back with me. Answer these 12 questions. It'll help set the tone of how you plan your off season. Number 2, stress recovery. Reduce your training volume, reduce your training frequency. Allow yourself to sleep in, allow yourself to take naps if possible. So instead of doing that hour training session, just go lay down, relax, meditate, and just allow your body to really not be active for that time that you normally would be. The off season is such a short period of time. It does your body and mind some good. So recovery, stress recovery this off season. Number 3, get a functional mobility assessment or strength movement assessment. It's called different things. Get your injuries or any issues that you've been having. If you've had ankle, knee, hip, shoulder problems, get those diagnosed, get those treated, figure out why it happened, and get on a treatment plan with a professional. Get a swim analysis, run analysis, get a bike fit. Usually those things, and I offer free swim and run analysis, usually those things, a little tweak in your stroke can help your shoulders, a little tweak with your running form can help your knees or hips or ankles, and then the proper bike fit Even if you've had a bike fit, it's important to get a bike fit every couple years because your body changes, your flexibility changes. That's going to change the dynamics of how comfortable you fit on your bike. So bike fit is really important to really maintain an injury-free body. Number 4 is, if you haven't already, incorporate strength training into your plan. Strength training could include Pilates, yoga, kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, body weight. There's so many programs out there. It can be a little bit confusing for athletes to determine what they should do for a strength training program. That's why I recommend that functional strength training assessment with a professional if possible. Movement screening to help you start with movements that are going to help you as an athlete go into the next season with as little injuries as possible. And the last thing as you're planning your off-season training is, how much structure do you want? Again, if you answer those 12 questions after you analyze your in-season, think about your training structure. Your training structure could be unstructured. You don't even create any plan at all. What I recommend is a single sport focused structure. Focus on your weakest part of your primary sport. So as a triathlete, if you want to work on your running, now's the time to focus on running. Leave, limited biking, limited swimming if possible. Maybe keep it in once a week. Focus on swimming, focus on cycling, focus on other sports in general. So there's a lot of different ways you can structure some off-season type of training out of season. Off doesn't really necessarily mean time off completely, but it does mean off of the structure that you just had in place. So there's, maybe you want to keep it social, join a cycling group, join a running club, join a master swim club, learn a new swim technique, learn a new swim stroke, mountain bike, cross bike, gravel bike. If you're a road runner, I was a road runner for like 20 years before I let myself experience trail running, and now I'm totally into the trail running. So again, try a new sport, try a new challenge, keep it fun, keep it social, keep injury free, and recover. The off season's all about mental and physical recovery to prepare your body for the upcoming season. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, make it a great day.